Alright, what's going on everyone? Back here with another video, and today we're going to be finally going over the 6-month long-term review of the MacBook Pro 2019, which I got back in May. So it hasn't really been 6 months, it's been like 5 months and like 25 days or something like that. But we're close enough to the 6-month mark where it's like, okay, we can get a good idea of what's good, what's not so good, and what's not great at all. So first things first, I want to go ahead and say that this machine has been nothing but great for me this past 6 months. For my workload and for what I do, which is primarily working with virtual machines on this in a testing environment, this thing has been a tremendous help to me over the past 6 months. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start off first things first with the good. As we get closer towards the end of the video, go over things I don't like. So first thing I want to kind of really harp on is the performance aspect of this machine. Now this is a 2019 16-inch MacBook Pro with the Core i9, 64 gigs of RAM, as well as the 5600M. Let me go ahead and zoom in and show you guys here. So like I said, 2.4 gigahertz, 8-core i9, 64 gigs of RAM, a 1 terabyte SSD, the Radeon 5600M, and those are the general specs. You know, like I said, this machine is primarily just running virtual machines all day. You can just kind of see right now, I've got a couple running. This is pretty much what it does all day. It's just, it sits in my office as my testing machine, and it runs VMs, it runs scripts, it runs Ansible commands on Linux. It replicates domains. I mean, it does it all, basically, with anything we did. Anything that could be done in a virtual machine, you know, to replicate a production environment, this is what it does. And it has been absolutely fantastic the past 6 months. You know, not a hiccup, not a stutter. Every time I go to open a virtual machine, you know, it's pretty much instant. You know, go ahead and open this one, just why not, you know? It's just been great, man. It's been a fantastic machine, and I can't really say enough great things about the performance of this machine. Now, one thing I will say about, you know, buying this machine, I would really recommend you get the 64 gig option. I know that they have a 32. The 64 gigs will be a very good upgrade option, so it's always something to keep in mind. You know, performance-wise, this thing is great. You know, when it comes to things on the graphics side, like video editing, like I said, this thing has been fantastic. 5600M with 8 gigs of HBM2, it's great. Editing 4K video off of, you know, iPhone footage. I did test some 4K like raw footage from like edit some 4K test footage, and it did it absolutely fine, no problem whatsoever. So if video editing is one of the primary things that you're going to be doing on this machine, that's going to be absolutely no problem for this machine. Now, if you're editing above 4K and you're moving up and towards, you know, the 6K or 8K, you know, in native resolution, obviously, you know, that's kind of outside of this computer's realm. Obviously, I wouldn't be editing 6K on a MacBook Pro, to be honest, but could I do it? Probably with an external graphics card, but in its current state, even with the 5600M, which is the best graphics card you can get for these machines, I really wouldn't. But yeah, you know, kind of on a tangent, you know, obviously wouldn't be editing 6K or 8K with the MacBook Pro, but yeah, like I said, it does fantastic graphics performance-wise. I haven't played any games on it. I don't really play games on my computer, so I use my computer strictly for work, so I can't really give a good gaming, I guess, opinion on this graphics card and on this machine, because I don't use it for gaming, so that's pretty much performance. Next thing is the keyboard and display. You know, this machine is used mostly with the display open and the keyboard accessible, so I can use my Touch ID. It's nice, you know, I don't use the display as my primary display. I mostly use it as a secondary or third display because I do have this machine hooked up to a docking station at work. It is nice having the third display, a nice display like this. I don't remember the resolution off the top of my head. I think it's like a little bit more than 1440p or something like that. I'll put it up somewhere on the screen here. Definitely a very nice resolution display. Very crisp, clear, and accurate display. So, keyboard. Much better keyboard than the previous year MacBook Pros. Man, I mean, this is like night and day. Like I was saying before, you know, coming from the butterfly keyboard, which I actually have an older style MacBook Pro right here that I can kind of base off of. This is my 2016 15-inch MacBook Pro with the butterfly style keyboard, and man, this is like such an improvement over that. It's not even funny. It's a night and day difference, and this makes typing, when I do type on this keyboard, it's very nice. So physical things aside, like that's pretty much all I have to say about that. You know, keyboard and display are just great. Oh, speakers. So speakers are another thing that I really do like about this machine. They get very loud, they have great range. They have great range, meaning they play every note, everything great. I have absolutely no problems with the speakers. I do use them every once in a while when I play music out loud, like when I'm cooking or something like that, but for the most part, I really don't use the speakers. I'm mostly wearing headphones when I'm using this machine. Definitely something to keep in mind if you're thinking about purchasing one of these machines is that the keyboard, the speakers, and the display are all really nice. Now, one thing that I'm really kind of neutral on is the touchpad, the touch bar right here. I rarely use it. It's just kind of there, so you know I can't really say anything good or bad about it because I don't use it. The only thing I use is the Touch ID sensor on the top right-hand corner of the machine. So I think as far as physical things, that's all I've got to say about that. I've got a case on. I've got this like black case. It is a little bit on the thicker side. I will say that it's definitely thick. Obviously thicker than something like a 2016 15-inch. You know, it's honestly not bad at all. It fits in my bag just fine. Carrying it in my bag every single day has not been an issue for the past 6 months. So, all right. So moving on. I've talked about the performance, the keyboard, display. Obviously, trackpad's nice. It's a nice trackpad. It's pretty big enough for you to put your entire hand on. It's a really nice trackpad. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much all the physical things I think. I'm trying to think right now. I don't think I have anything else. So yeah, like I said, performance-wise, this thing is fantastic. Has not put a foot wrong. So now I'm gonna get to the things that I kind of wish were better. Number one is gonna be the battery life on this thing. It's not awful, heavy usage. I'm getting about an hour and 45 minutes. It's not awful, like I said, the heavy usage meaning the CPU is running about 75 to 82%. Like I said, CPU usage is between 80%, 85%. And I'm getting about 2 hours on battery. Like I said, I rarely use it off of wall power, but when I do, that's pretty much what I get. Like I said, it's not a major issue for me as someone who uses this as a pretty much desktop replacement, but that is something to keep in mind for sure. And that's pretty much the only thing I feel that could be better, maybe with optimization or something like that, and be less heavy usage. But that's pretty much it for what I think of could be improved on. I really don't have any major gripes with this machine. My only one gripe about this machine, and it doesn't have anything to do with the machine itself. It's really just my fault. Is the 1 terabyte SSD, and as you can see, if I go here and I zoom in, I've got about 300 gigs free. So I'm almost full within 6 months. Like I said, they're not really a major thing, but if you're gonna get one of these machines, please get at least 2 terabytes. Don't be like me and get the 1 terabyte SSD. I mean, this thing, it doesn't make any sense to get the 1 terabyte SSD. I think everybody should get a minimum of 2 terabytes. If you're just doing word processing, and PowerPoints and stuff like that, and you decide to get one of these machines, for the screen, for the keyboard, or maybe just for the screen of the speakers, 1 terabyte might be okay, but as for me being a semi-power user, 2 terabytes is gonna have to be the minimum. And I haven't got to the point where I'm carrying around an external SSD just yet, but I mean that's probably gonna be on the horizon here. If I continue to use this machine as my main machine. Now, speaking from outside of the MacBook Pro, this is kind of like segueing into what's next. I don't know. I'm not really sure. The whole reason I purchased this machine is I was at a point. I had just picked up my new position, which I've been at for about 6 months now. I needed a test machine. I kind of wanted to consolidate my test machine, my work machine, which is my other work machine that's not used for testing things, and then my main machine. Didn't want to have to keep going back and forth between my work machine and my home machine, especially because I'm on them both a lot, and going back and forth, having my files back and forth. I just figured, let's just combine them all in one. I don't work on anything that's sensitive to the point where I can't have it on my computer. So I just decided to combine them both into one, and it was a pretty good idea. I'm not gonna say it was a bad idea. And on top of that, you know, I was supposed to be going back to school. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and I'm not sure when it's gonna happen. So I could go back to I could go ahead and build a Hackintosh here, but then again, that goes back to me using two separate machines. So as far as me, you know, main machine wise, you know, I don't really have a problem with continuing using this. This thing has been absolutely fantastic. Now, obviously, when I'm at home, I'm not running virtualization on this. I'm running virtualization on my servers, you know, my R740, my R720 XD, and yeah. So all in all, you know, that's just my thoughts. You know, 6 months in with the MacBook Pro 2019, I think it's a fantastic laptop. Performance is there. The price is coming down. You know, if you can get one of these maxed out for less than $2,000, you're going to do really well for yourself. I definitely recommend getting one maxed out. If you don't want to get one maxed out, at least get the i9 and 32 gigs of RAM. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on this thing. 6 months in, you know, fantastic laptop. 100% recommended if you're looking at getting one. You know, if you watched the previous video, the unboxing and review, I did compare it to an M1 machine, and I have got a little bit more familiar with M1 machines in the you know, last few months, and I have to stand by what I said in that video. When this is the superior machine when it comes to the things that I do. The virtualization stuff has not caught up to the Apple ARM chips, and I believe that this, for right now, at least for the next year or so, this is the machine to go if you need portable virtualization, bare metal Windows. Anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for listening to Ramble. I know it's been a while since I uploaded a video. I have a lot to update you guys on, but yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.